Keegan.
Thank you, Chair. It's a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship, and I would like to thank the Honourable Member for Warwick and Leamington for holding this important debate. Job losses in the automotive industry are of great concern to all of us, particularly those of us who have car manufacturers in our constituencies. My constituency, Chichester, is home to Rolls-Royce, who are the single largest employer, employing more than 1,700 people in highly skilled, well-paid jobs. And nationally, the automotive industry provides 814,000 jobs with an annual turnover of £77.5 billion, making it over 8% of the UK's manufacturing output. The importance of this industry is not just of great importance in Chichester, but to the country as a whole. I began my working life in a car factory in Liverpool, where I worked for 7 years. When I first started work, the industry was introducing a supply chain mechanism called just-in-time. First developed in Japan, this would revolutionise the industry and make UK car manufacturing competitive, able to compete effectively with the rest of the world. But just-in-time is logistically complex, with components arriving from suppliers based all over the world on the actual day they are to be assembled to produce a car or a sub-assembly, thus avoiding storing large quantities of inventory, adding to the cost overhead. Over decades, the automotive industry has created a highly integrated and fast-paced supply chain. This has been facilitated in Europe through the free movement of goods within the customs union. A car comprised of parts from throughout Europe will be assembled in around 20 days, from start to finish. Not a screw will have been made before the 20 days. A network of suppliers based all over the world will be involved, and parts will sometimes cross borders several times before becoming a sub-assembly ready for final production. To put this into context, a crankshaft in a car manufactured in the UK will cross the English Channel 4 times before being assembled into the final car. The success of the supply chain network is dependent on many moving parts doing so in a frictionless fashion. Imagine the effect that even a small delay at customs will have. Well, I can. I'm pretty sure I'm one of the few members of Parliament who has spent days sat in customs desperately waiting for parts to be released to dash them back to the car factory where a line full of workers were eagerly sat waiting for work. Stopping a line in the manufacturing business is a disaster. All the cost, none of the production, and the knock-on delay to other planned production in the future. It's a very costly experience, and that's an understatement. It's what makes car manufacturing uncompetitive and would certainly lead to job losses here. Car manufacturers will not risk this happening. Instead, they will have to build warehouses to house stock, which would effectively set the industry back years, putting it back to the 1980s. In addition, what effect would this have on our roads? Currently, lorries pass customs in under 2 minutes. If it's doubled, this would have a huge impact on our ports and the surrounding roads. We must be innovative when we implement new customs arrangements, utilising technology to ensure there are no hold-ups at crossing points. I'm pleased that the government are aiming to ensure crossing points are as frictionless as possible, but we must make sure we get this right. The size of the UK's car manufacturing is impressive, but we cannot take it for granted. Every new model is highly competitive, as a number of car plants located around the world will have similar capabilities with different labour rates and different market conditions. As we leave the EU, the UK must remain competitive, as there will be increasing pull factors to other locations that will seek to draw the investment away from our shores. Thus far, the industry has shown their support by investing much further in the UK since 2010. We have seen jobs in car companies increase by nearly 30%. If we continue to prioritise friction-free customs arrangements and continued close cooperation with members of the EU around rules of origin and harmonised standards and type approvals, then I am optimistic that this industry will continue to thrive and grow. Thank you.